How's everybody doing today? Welcome to Cup of Joe with Joe. I am your favorite garden gnome and libertarian candidate for Congressional District 1, state of Idaho. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. I just got off a fantastic podcast event with Why Libertarian. Let me see if I can go ahead and do a little something here real quick. Helps if I actually spell it right, right? So for those of you that are interested, you can go ahead and pop on over to his site here. And so Libertarian Why. So we did a live broadcast. You guys are paying attention to this. You got the same link just finished up. You can go ahead and take a look at my last broadcast. His version of that will be available here in about a week or so. And I think it's good material because it explains a lot about my personal journey from where I came over the last 6 years into the Libertarian Party and why the libertarian philosophy is so important to me, especially as I run for Congress right now. Oh, man. Hair's going all crazy on me. Starting to look all libertarian Jesus on this. So, what do you guys care about today? What do you want to talk about? Because that's what I'm here for. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your opinions. So we have an exchange of ideas as far as how I can best represent you when you elect me to Congress. Because you do want me in Congress, right? You do, believe me. There is no one else that's going to be interested in active ungovernance on your behalf in the United States Congress like I will be. So, talk to me, folks. What do you guys want to hear about today? What are we talking about? Yeah, so Indigenous Today, Indigenous America Today. Let's go ahead and talk about that. Yeah, federal holidays. It's a statism. Why are we celebrating anything on a federal holiday, especially that guy? Because we all know that guy didn't actually accomplish anything. He's an urban legend, urban myth, modern American. Well, he's not even modern American. He's an immigration myth of American historic culture. You know, the stories that were told about him when I was growing up, the history books, they weren't accurate. Matter of fact, they were deliberately created in order to integrate what at the time was a marginalized community here in America, mainly the Italian immigrants. They created a legend, they created a myth around him, then made them feel welcome, made them feel part of the American mythos, which is really sort of bogus, because simply the fact that they made it here to America as immigrants, they were Americans. They were part of the creation of America. Yeah, and it's time we really start to do a better job of admitting, the relationship of immigrants to what has happened here in America. Not just, colonizers. We're not interested in what the colonizers did. Despite the fact that an awful lot of immigrants came over here and they bought, the colonizers' dog whistles. They believed, what was going on at the time. But we need to accept better overall the multicultural aspects of what America is, who we are now, if we're actually to become something better than what we were. And well, that's my personal opinion on things. And a lot of this has to do with the way I came to understand who I am. So let's talk about this. I did a trip to Iraq. Okay, United States Army military veteran. 4 combat tours, 3 in Afghanistan, 1 in Iraq. Now, the interesting thing when you're involved in doing intelligence analysts in Iraq is not a monoculture. It's not. You got an awful lot of different heritages, histories, religions that all exist within Iraq, especially within the area that we were operating in up north along the Sinjar Mountain. You got, and the reason why is because that's up there in Kurdistan. Okay. Kurdistan isn't actually a real nation, but there is a group of people, Kurdish heritage, that occupy that region of Iraq where I was at, into Syria, into Turkey, clear back around. They got portions of like 4 countries that are inhabited by the Kurdish people. And this is Kurdish tribalism. The thing is up there in that area where I was working, right along the Syrian border, we had the Kurds, we had Iraqis, we had the Yazidi, and then of course we had Americans that were there. Now you step back and realize that entire area has been torn by war. You know, Alexander the Great went through that region at one point, you know, so you got heritage, you know, that dates back to Greco-Roman times, you know, pre-Roman. You know, individuals grew up, you know, with Greek heritage inside Iraqi borders. And then, of course, you got the Sunnis, you got the Shiites, the Yazidis themselves have their own religion. But you start taking a look and you realize this multicultural diversity, you know, that went on in that region of Iraq. And even in Afghanistan, huge. You know, they speak like 10 different tribal languages all across, you know, Pashtun, Dari, you know, depending on which portion of Afghanistan you're from. And even the tribal dialects start getting really confusing as you start getting into what goes on with the different tribes. The thing is, you know, these are all cultural tribes. They're able to get along. They work, you know, as communities, interrelated communities, you know, help and develop things, create things, you know, and when we aren't deliberately instigating, you know, rivalries between them, you know, they do a pretty good job of making things happen. You know, during 2008, 2009, when I was in Iraq, we were taking a look at what was going on, and we actually saw the Kurds and their community step in and assist the Yazidis on a number of different issues. You know, as far as protection, you know, Yazidis themselves have an extensive history and extensive culture. You know, that's one of those things when I came back to the United States, you know, I stepped in and I realized, you know, just how diverse Idaho is, how diverse Boise is, you know, all of the different cultural aspects of everything that was going on here in the United States, here in my own hometown. You know, so you step back and you realize, you know, Boise has the oldest synagogue west of the Mississippi in the United States. You know, we were the first synagogue west of the Mississippi, right here in Boise. You know, one of the longest standing Jewish communities, you know, west of the Mississippi, right here in Idaho, right here in Boise, Idaho. Yeah. Step back right now, we got something like about 4 or 5 different mosques, you know, right here in Boise. We have the Bosniaks Mosque. We have the Islamic Center. I think there's 2 others. I can't recall their names right offhand. But, I mean, we got a strong Islamic community. We got a strong refugee community. You dig back into our history, the Basque Center right downtown. the Basque community. It's been a critical piece of Idaho history that's gone on. Campman Doka, well, we all know that wasn't a particularly good time in Idaho's history. Minidoka was the internment camp. But we have a Japan Day based on the Minidoka internment camp community that basically settled here because they had no place to go back to because of what happened to their land, their property while they were interned there. So we have Japanese community, the railroads that went through here at one time, the Chinese workers, and of course we have 5 different reservations here in the state of Idaho. We have Coeur d'Alene, the Nez Perce, Fort Hall, and I could actually go over, well, I can't. My memory isn't that good, but we have the Kootenai, Coeur d'Alene, Nez Perce, Shoshone-Bannock, Shoshone-Lemhi tribes, Northern Paiute. We got a number of different indigenous cultures that existed here within, the borders of Idaho prior to the Western expansion. The colonizers, let's go ahead and call this, I'm not one of the best at land acknowledgments. Let's just admit that. But the land we're on, it didn't always belong to us. And it wasn't taken fairly. It wasn't. Something we got to recognize. Now, how do we go about restoring it? That's complicated. Really, really complicated. I got some ideas. Other people have got ideas. But it's complicated. I'm not sure exactly what's going to be the winning solution, what's going to be the winning idea as far as land back opportunities and exactly what the intent with that land is once it does go back. But we got those that we need to look at, that we need to consider. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. I realize this is my 2nd video today. You guys were watching me earlier talking on, why libertarian? Why am I a libertarian? Of all the different political values I could identify and, all the different varieties of libertarians that are out there. Are you Mises? Are you Hoppian? Are you Friedman or Hayek? Who's your libertarian ideal? Who? And that was the old discussion. So, come on, folks, talk to me. What do you guys want me to rattle on about today? Because I know Columbus Day, Indigenous Day is not something I'm a real big fan of. You like me mumbling? Like me going on, rattling on about anything? Thank you, Jennifer. I really do appreciate it. So, Jennifer, she's actually running for, I think, seat 2B up there? Regional. So she's actually going to be out at the Women's March up in Coeur d'Alene this weekend, or next weekend. Is it next weekend, Jennifer? Is that when you're doing the Women's March up there in Coeur d'Alene? But she's got the Women's March up there. She's been doing a real good job getting out and talking about libertarianism. She just got off of a speaking engagement with the John Birch Society. How many of you like the John Birch Society? Yep, next weekend. Awesome. Up there, Coeur d'Alene next weekend. Jennifer will be up there. She'll be handing out Jo Jorgensen literature at the Women's March. Yes, we do have Saturday. It will be Saturday. Yes, we do have a woman running for president of the United States right now. 100 years after women's suffrage. 100 years after the ERA, the Equal Rights Amendment. 100 years. We do have a woman running for president, right? Okay, so that is Saturday the 17th, Coeur d'Alene. If you're up in northern Idaho, go ahead and head on over that direction. So as most of you know, I talked about this Saturday. Last week there were actually a number of debates that were aired. I'm hoping to be up there next weekend too. 17th. Okay, well, actually that's going to be the 24th, 7 days after the Women's March. Gonna try and make it up there to northern Idaho, so I can wave Joe Jorgensen signs in Evans for Idaho and Luoma for Idaho. Yes. Peace. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, peace in our time, all those great and awesome things. I'll be up there the weekend of the 24th with Jennifer. That's the weekend after she does the Coeur d'Alene Women's March. She is your libertarian candidate up there. Yes, I will be up there the 24th. 8-hour drive up, 8-hour drive back. It's going to be fun. But yeah. So, but 100 years, the Equal Rights Movement, women's suffrage, 100 years of it. We have a woman running for president. 2020 hindsight, folks, 2020. You guys weren't ready for it, 4 years ago when Hillary was running. This time she's a libertarian. And take a look at your options, folks. Take a look at your options. This is the woman you want as president. You do. You really, really do. But yeah. So, but last week we had Idaho Public TV. They did theirs. They released theirs on Friday night. The Coeur d'Alene Press did one Thursday. A little bit later this week, I also did one with the Caldwell Chamber of Commerce. We had a nice conversation with them. Unicorn costumes. Who wants ponies? Who wants ponies? Yes. Here coming up next week, I'm actually doing an interview with Channel News 8. They're going to have their interviews with the CD1 candidates. Matt, I think, let me go ahead and find who's got that one going. Yeah, give me a moment. Why does it always do this to me? Anyway, Matt Rosenberg. He's going to be doing the Meet the Candidate section for the website. So that'll be an interview between him and I. That's going to be awesome stuff coming up. And that's going to be Channel 8 News out of Idaho Falls. So for those of you who are interested, we definitely got that coming up. This is real fun answering all of these questions from all of these people that are coming up and just having, the random discussions. If you get a chance, we got another one coming up. He's taking his sweet time publishing this one, but Channel 99 Studios here in the next week or two. I'm hoping, no. He's still taking his time getting that up. But yeah, definitely looking forward to coming up, Jennifer. We got good stuff coming up, folks. Just tune in, stop by, ask us. I'm not afraid to answer questions. I've done my best to be transparent about my views on an awful lot of things. I recognize that a lot of people aren't quite ready for where I want to be. And I recognize that. I don't want to cause trauma. for an awful lot of people in the pursuit of my goals. Because I know a lot of you aren't ready to go from where we are to where I personally want to be. You know, we got issues, you know, there's an awful lot of people out there that aren't comfortable with the delegislation or the descheduling of marijuana. Yeah, I recognize that. Yeah, I want to be, you know, I hesitate to use the word pragmatic, you know, on some of these issues. Yet some of these issues are very important to me, and I'd like to see things done in a way that facilitates and makes things easy and comfortable. So we don't deal with an awful lot of social or cultural trauma related to some of these changes. You know, like one of the things I really want to do, and we all know this one, you know, I am a strong advocate for bring our troops home, right? Right? A pragmatic libertarian. That is so weird. You know, but I'm a strong advocate for bring our troops home. I believe we can bring our troops home on day one. Absolutely. You know, I believe most of America is ready for us to bring our troops home on day one. Got it. You know, let's make that happen. You know, I think we can fix the crime bill. You know, we got an awful lot of people in prison right now for nonviolent crimes that shouldn't be there. They definitely shouldn't have been there in for as long as they are. You know, we need to get them out of prison. Now, there's ways to do that. There's ways to make that happen. You know, there's ways that we can make economic sense of an awful lot of the changes in the world, you know, with regards to, say, legalization or decriminalization of marijuana. We can, you know, fix an awful lot of the financial issues right now. You know, one of my counterparts, Mike Crapo, he sits on the Banking Commission. You know, he's gotten in the way of making banking for the dispensaries, you know, a feasible option. You know, he's still getting in the way of that. You know, while I understand it, his reasons, I don't agree with him. You know, but yeah, that's what politics are about. It's about finding those areas where you can make compromises and make things move in the direction they need to start moving. You know, a lot of people in Idaho aren't ready for it. A lot of people are. I'm running because I feel comfortable that more people in Idaho are ready to see it happen. You know, 76% of Idahoans right now are ready for medical marijuana in the state. So why hasn't it happened yet? You know, are we going to make it happen this year with our legislation, with our legislators? No, probably not. But you elect me to Congress, you know, we can get it decriminalized across the United States, and that's going to make it a lot easier to make legalization happen here in the state of Idaho. You know, at a bare minimum, you know, stop being a federal crime to go across the border to get it and bring it back. You know, Idaho State Police probably still arrest you, but, you know, at least it won't be a federal crime, right? You know, interstate trafficking, I think we can safely put an end to that. Especially considering just how many license plates we find in dispensaries just across the state borders. Folks, come on. It's time to make that happen. Absolutely. Jennifer, love you. Absolutely. 100% legalization. We need to make that happen. You know, is it going to be easy? No, it's not going to be easy. But we can make it happen. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not the day after, but we can make it happen. And we definitely need to start moving in that direction. And I'll get it moving, folks. I will definitely get it moving in that direction. Yeah, but we got other issues. Right. It is ridiculous. You know, the amount of money that the state of Idaho is losing because our residents are going across the border and paying taxes on medical marijuana in other states. Folks, come on. That's money. You know, not that I'm a fan of taxes, but if we got to pay taxes, at least pay them locally. Don't pay other states' taxes. Pay Idaho's taxes. Yeah, that's a weird one. It's hard talking about local tax, but I mean, literally, we got people all across the state of Idaho that are driving across the border to pay taxes on their marijuana in another state. Why? Why are you doing that? That doesn't make any sense to me. It does not make any sense at all. Yep, that's what we do. That's what we do. Yeah, let's do something to fix that, folks. Let's do something to fix that. What else do we got? Immigration. I've talked about it a couple of times. You know my deal on immigration. One of the things, deported veterans. How many of you are aware that we are deporting veterans? We have sent immigrants seeking citizenship here in America to fight our wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and we bring them back so that we can deport them. In some cases, to countries that they haven't seen since they were born. I mean, could you imagine being born in Syria 25 years ago? Yeah, and your parents came to America, came to the United States, and your path to citizenship led you to join the United States Army. And then you go over to Iraq or Afghanistan, and you fight for America over there. And you come back to the United States with your post-traumatic stress injury, and you seek a means to cope. Only your means of coping isn't legal in the state you decide to choose as your state of residence. The next thing you know, you're on your way back to Syria. You don't even know the language, man. Because your parents haven't spoken it since the day you were born. How is that fair? How is that fair? Especially for nonviolent crimes. That's what an awful lot of our deportations are. That's what a lot of our deported veterans are getting arrested on and deported over, is nonviolent crimes. Usually related to post-traumatic stress, injury, self-medication. That's not fair, folks. We need to do better by our veterans, regardless of the nation they were born in. Anyway, it's enough about that. So, running low, right? Definitely a sad topic, isn't it, Jennifer? Definitely a sad topic. Especially considering how important immigration is to the state of Idaho. We have one of the most successful refugee communities in the United States. Our International Rescue Committee has been helping relocate refugees in the state of Idaho, at a proportional amount, since the Bosnian refugee crisis. I mean, that's how our Bosnian mosque, our Bosniak mosque, got built here in Boise. Was the International Rescue Committee helped integrate refugees from around the world, clear back in, the 80s. Well, even before that. Reason why is because we have a strong Vietnamese population, Vietnamese refugees that come here. That came over here from Vietnam during, the Vietnam War in the 70s. So we have a long history of helping refugees resettle here in Boise. And if you're actually paying attention when you drive around, you know, it's interesting because this is one of those places where we don't have, well, ever since we started gentrifying Garden City, because Garden City used to be, the Oriental part, the Oriental Gardens. That was a big attraction to Garden City at the time, was the Oriental Gardens down there because of our Japanese and Chinese, immigrants that settled, back when we segregated. Um, you know, but yeah, we got to work together. We got to work together. All countries, all nations, all cultures. We're all still American, first and foremost. Those people who come here, they came here because they wanted to be American. They still want to be proud of their heritage, just like we do, whether it's Scottish or Irish or English or French or German. I got a lot of German heritage, on my side. There's certain want to reach back and, this is my immigrant culture. This is, who my family was. We have an awful lot of immigrants. We have the Bosnians that come, we have, the Irish dancers, the Basque community. I talked about that earlier. The diverse culture within Idaho. We need to work together. And as David said, this is more than just the state of Ada. We talk about the immigrant community right here in Ada County, here in Boise. There is a huge refugee community over in Idaho Falls, Pocatello area. And a lot of these people have come in and they become agricultural workers. Agricultural labor. They've settled in the area. They're creating communities. They go to work on the farms. Several of them have actually purchased small farms of their own. Here in Ada, we got a couple that are running community gardens that they turn around and sell produce at our farmers markets. Several of the communities, like I said, if you're driving around the city of Boise, David, I'm not sure how it is over in Pocatello, Idaho Falls area, but as far as that goes, when you're driving around and you're looking around, you see the Vietnamese signs, the delis there, where you can sit down and some Vietnamese oxtail soup. You got the Afghan diners, Mediterranean food, whether the Mediterranean originated as either Iraqi or even Afghani, the pon bread. We got the diversity. We got the Asian market over on Eagle Road. We got some halal markets. We got kosher delis here in Boise even. I mean, seriously, folks, enjoy the multiculturalism. Enjoy the variety. Dude, find something other than ranch dressing to put on your french fries. Seriously. Kanakatak. God, I love that place. I love it. Polynesian fusion tacos. I mean, guys, we see it when we go out all the time. Yeah, we'd have nothing without a lot of them. A lot of the work that our immigrants, that our refugees do here in Idaho, in America, they're ones our kids, their jobs our kids don't want to do. Admit it. Our kids don't want to go work on the farm at 6 a.m. till sundown. They don't want to milk cows. They don't want, you got to admit that there is work our kids don't want to do. And these refugees, the immigrants, they want to. That's their path to citizenship. That is, I'm not saying take advantage of them. Don't be taking advantage of them. Pay them what they're worth. Believe me, they're worth a lot more than what they're getting paid, especially considering they are willing to do the work our kids won't do. But that's the truth about America. That's the truth about, third, fourth generation Americans. We expect a different lifestyle than what we need to actually survive. We expect someone else to do the work we don't want to do. If you don't pay them enough to do that work that we don't want to do, sooner or later people stop doing it. They do have a respect for life. They have a respect for work. Not that our kids don't have a work ethic, but let's be honest. Not everybody sees every kind of work in the exact same light. We don't. We should. It's who we are, or should be. You want to work, you want to live, you want to eat, you should be willing to do a little farm work. My thoughts, anyway. How often do you need a lawyer? When you get divorced? When your parents die? Maybe when you... A couple other reasons. How often do you need a doctor? Once every 6 months for your checkup? How often do you need a dentist? I don't know. A lot of it depends on how often you brush your teeth. I guarantee you need a farmer or an agricultural worker 3 times a day, man. We don't respect them enough, honestly. We don't. That's just the reality of life. We do not respect our agricultural and farm workers, despite the fact that 3 times a day we need to eat. We can do better. I know we can. Matter of fact, we might have to, because we straight up broke the food supply chain here this summer. We're probably about to break it again as we move into winter and everybody starts getting sick, especially considering we're still dealing with climbing COVID rates. Yeah. Hygiene, folks. COVID. Wash your hands. Yeah. It's where the germs collect anyway. Don't touch your face. Wash your hands. Some of you may want to / need to take the extra step. Clean masks in order to prevent contamination. There are things we can do to stay healthy. And let's admit it, we shouldn't just be doing it for COVID, man. We should be doing it for the common flu. Really, who wants to get sick with any of that? Wash your hands, wash your ass. Goes a long way to staying healthy. God. Okay, folks, it's been 40 minutes. Thank you, David. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you both for participating today. Love you guys. Remember, folks out there, like, love, share, comment, make things happen. Family, friends, community. Together, we can legalize life. It's our goal, right? Legalize life. Make it happen. Together, we will prevail. Love you. See you tomorrow.